All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
So today we are going to talk about every American citizen's favorite thing,
Great.
which is
Jury duty.
Woo! Jury duty.
Okay. So I want to start this out.
Yeah.
Okay. Something. So okay. I'll first. I'm not gonna.
Are you actually going to start, or are you just going to stutter?
I'm just gonna stutter the whole time. We'll start off by how do you get a notification for jury duty?
First, there are probably some people here who don't know what jury duty is. Can you explain what it is?
Okay. I was going to talk about that. So jury duty is something that all Americans are required to do.
Mhm.
It's a thing. It's a requirement for U.S. citizenship, right? And so one of the things about America that actually makes America a little bit of a unique place in the
Mhm.
world is we have a criminal court that's decided by peers.
Yeah.
So
By other citizens.
yes,
Not a
so
judge.
The judge is obviously present and witnesses the whole trial, but his decision is pretty much based off of the jury.
Yeah.
So the jury will come to a conclusion, and he will then make a sentence based off of what the jury
Yeah.
decides.
Yeah.
Right. And the reason why, just to give a little bit of background on that, is back when America was fighting for its independence with Britain, a lot of people would be tried for crimes in the colonies
Mm-hmm.
and then taken to England
Mm-hmm.
to be tried.
Yeah.
And colonists were kind of like really lowly thought of.
Mm-hmm.
And so more often than not, these people were given extremely unfair prison
Mhm.
sentences and killed
Mhm.
for really petty crimes,
Mhm.
right? And there was no like representation for them
Mhm.
at all. It was just like, I don't like you, so we're just gonna execute you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even need to know what you did,
Yeah.
right? You're just some like peasant from the
Yeah.
colonies, right? And so when America became a country, they're like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. If someone's going to get tried for a crime, we're going to make sure that the authority doesn't decide their fate. We're going to
Yeah.
make sure that it's the community that
Yeah.
these people made the crime in.
Yeah.
And so that exists today.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting because in other countries, the person who decides if you're guilty or innocent is normally the judge.
Yep.
He is the decision maker. He's the arbiter of justice.
Yep.
But in America, it's not the judge. He's more of like the referee during the game.
Kind of. Yeah.
But-
yeah.
But the people who decide whether you're guilty or not is the fellow citizens who are not connected with you, who are watching the whole process.
Yes.
And so what's interesting about that is, my sister is a lawyer. You know, she went to law school.
Yeah.
And that creates a very unique dynamic because the lawyers overseas, they speak to the judge.
Yeah.
But in America, they speak to the judge and to the audience. And
Yeah.
so part of being a good lawyer is to develop your presentation skills so that you can emotionally move the jury.
Yeah. It's also important to say that the lawyers are the ones who choose the jury.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I have you ever gone through jury duty?
I have gone through jury
Okay.
duty.
So you know that there's like a
I was selected for jury duty and then I was not needed so I could go home.
oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So after you get selected for jury duty, which you usually get a notification through the mail.
Yeah.
And this is not something you can just decline.
Yeah.
You have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think you even made a reference, like you got it like while you're living here in Japan.
Yeah. So a couple. Let me just tell that story. This is why we want. This is one of the reasons we want to talk about it. But
yeah.
so a couple years ago, I was in America.
Hmm.
No, actually, this is 2021.
Yeah.
I was in America,
Mhm.
and around February or so, my mom says, "Hey, you got a letter from the court system. Do you want me to open it?" She opens up my mail sometimes. Like, yeah, sure, check it out. And it says, "Okay, you are summoned to come to jury in September 9th, 2021. Please come." And so I wrote them. I'm like, "Hey, I'm living in Japan now. I can't do it." They're like, "Well, it's your duty as a citizen, so you can postpone it. You can't deny it. So when would you like to do it?" Ugh. Okay, well, I'm back in December, so I'll do it in December. So I moved it from September to December, and I was able to do it when I come back every year, you know? But yeah, it's really something you can't move, like, just as a part of a comparison. So about 2 years later, so this is like last year actually, I got a notification from the Massachusetts Tax Bureau. And they said, hey, we found out that in 2019, you got $30,000 of income from in Massachusetts. So you owe $3,000 in tax. You owe $4,000 in tax plus interest for not paying your tax from 2019. And what it was is it was my YouTube revenue from before I changed into a company, you know? And so I wrote them back. I'm like, hey, I lived in Japan. I've barely been in Massachusetts. And they're like, oh, okay, sorry, never mind. You don't have to pay us that money. So I can, bless you, I can get out of paying taxes, but I can't get out of jury duty.
That's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
So it's so weird to me that you got notifications. Do you have like a PO box or something in Massachusetts?
No. It's just my family address, my parents' address.
But do you have that like attached to your name?
Yeah. So my registered address in the United States is my parents' house.
Because I don't have a registered address in the U.S. anymore. Okay. So I think maybe that's the main difference.
But do you never get mail from the United States?
No.
Man, I should probably do that.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I just sometimes like I have American bank accounts still, so like they need American.
I do too.
Really?
Yeah.
So, but you're able to like set your address to the
My
Japan?
address is to Japan.
Really? Even on your American bank account?
Yeah, it's like really janky, and I never get letters, which is really infuriating because I've been trying to get a new card.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't recommend it, but yeah.
I should look into that.
Yeah. No, you shouldn't.
Okay.
It was a bad decision.
Okay.
I'll tell you the position that I'm in right now. It's really awkward. This may be a little bit too personal, but my American bank account I'm actually locked out of logging into.
Oh yeah.
Because so I've tried calling them, and I get an international number for Chase, and usually like a Indian person will pick up. And they're usually really friendly and they help me. And then I get transferred over to an American person. And I actually had a person hang up on me.
Really?
It would Chase customer service is the rudest customer service.
Why did they hang up on you?
So I was explaining the situation. I actually spent $60 of my own money doing international calls trying to fix this. But so I was calling them up and I'm like, hey, I've been locked out of my account. And they're like, okay, well, no problem. We'll just send you a text message. I'm like, well, I have a Japanese number. That's registered on my account, which you're allowed to do, by the way. But for whatever reason, I think they do like an automatic calling thing. It doesn't work with international numbers. So I never get the text message to unlock my account. So I called them in and I'm like, please just work with me. Help me unlock this account. And you have to answer security questions. Well, here's the problem. I've had this Chase account for like 15 years.
Yeah.
And at one point when I was in college, I spent most of my time like living at home.
Yeah.
But at one point I was living in a condo with some friends for like maybe 6 months.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
Guess what address I'm expected to recite in the security question?
Oh, is
it the address that I grew up in?
Yeah.
From the house?
No.
Is it my Japanese address? No, it's the house that I spent 5 months in over 10 years ago in some random place in Kenmore, Washington.
Kenmore, man. Kenmore?
It's like, do you know the street? It's like, dude, I don't even know what the hell that house looked like. I was there for such a brief period.
Yeah.
It's always that place.
Yeah.
And as soon as I fail the question, they're just like, can't help you.
Yeah, right.
And then so I called a couple times after that, and I'm just like, look, please don't ask me this question. I can't answer it. I'm who I am. I can give you my social if that's required. And the lady's like, I don't have time for this, and just left.
Wow. Isn't it ironic though? It's like you have these security questions that are supposed to verify your identity, but whenever you need to answer them, you forget them.
It's so ridiculous, man.
I never remember my security questions.
Yeah, it's so insane. And it's like, dude, I can literally give you my social security. I can tell you the house I grew up in. Like all of these things that obviously no one would be able to prove other than me. Anyways.
The thing that gets me with the online security questions is because they're very sensitive to how you spell it. So like if they say, what was your first car? Okay, well, did I write Ford? Did I write Ford Escort?
Yeah.
Did I write a blue Ford Escort? Like, what did I write? And if you don't get it exactly right, then it doesn't work. Yeah. But anyways, jury duty.
So back to jury duty. So jury duty is like, it's so insane. So you get the notification
Yeah.
and you have to show up.
Have you done jury duty?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I'll just go off my past experience with it. So you show up and then you're like, you have to sign in and everything, and they cover your transportation costs, but it's like the most lazy government cover.
Yeah.
Like most of the time they don't actually cover the transportation costs.
Yeah.
They just go, okay, well, you use this much gas from point A to point B, and so that costs this much in gas. So here's like $5 in gas, and it's like, well, okay, you're not counting for the 3 hours of traffic that I just sat through because jury duty starts at 8 a.m. and I'm trying to get into downtown Seattle at 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And so that part is really frustrating. Then you get sat down and usually some person will come over and talk to you about like today. And they're just like, guys, it's okay. You know, it's okay to tell your boss that, you know, you're doing jury duty. And you know what? Some of you who are, you know, hourly wage employees, like, don't worry, you're not losing money because you guys are being paid to be here.
How are you being paid to be there?
You get paid to be at jury duty.
Do?
Do you know how much you get paid?
Much?
Like $40.
$40?
It's like, dude, this barely covers lunch. What do you mean I get paid to be like, you know, if you're a salary person, like, okay, fair enough, right? You're it doesn't matter. But dude, imagine if you're like just an hourly wage employee and
jury duty is way more than 4 hours.
Yeah, you normally are working like a 4 to 8 hour shift. And I'm like, most of these people are working minimum wage, but even with a minimum wage job, you're making like $120 a day.
Yeah, right.
Or something like that, right? And so it's insulting that they say you're being paid to be there, where it's just like, no, I'm actively losing money being here. You guys don't understand how much this inconveniences my life.
Yeah.
But anyways, after you go through that process, you wait until you get assigned into a group, right? And usually a group will be like sent to a case. Yeah. You'll sit down with lawyers, and it'll be lawyers from both the prosecution and the defendant. And they will ask you a series of questions. First of all, they'll sort out people just based off of life experience. So they'll ask like a series of questions like, are you a criminal? Have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? And based off of your answers, which could be good or bad, like just being a criminal doesn't necessarily mean they're going to cut you. Yeah. Right? Because it might be relevant to their case. So they might want somebody with that experience in. So based off that answer, this is going to be embarrassing to say, but they asked me. So they explained the case that I was part of, which I think is actually illegal. No, I think the case is finished, so I'm allowed to talk about it now. Yeah. This was like 5 or 6, like actually like 10 years ago, so it probably doesn't even matter. Basically, the case was this guy got drunk, brought a gun to a gas store or gas station, robbed a gas station, not for money, but for a 24-pack of beer. Hey guys, we're interrupting this awesome podcast with the two of us to tell you about a really special thing. It's called the Austin&Arthur Friends.
In the Austin&Arthur Friends, you're going to get this video with English and Japanese subtitles. 日本語と英語の字幕両方ついている動画もゲットできるんですね。You can also get a PDF script so you can read along with it. You'll get the video, the long conversation in separate videos, so it's easier for you to watch as well. You'll also get access to a 会員限定 online community and also opportunities to talk directly with me and Austin.
Yeah, you know, because we're really fun to talk to.
Well, I am. Austin's really boring.
That's a lie. It's the opposite.
He's correct. I'm the boring one.
All right. Bye, guys.
See ya. What?
Left the gas station. They called the cops, and then this guy was arrested like 20 minutes later. This like the guy for my case was just like the dumbest criminal in the history of criminals. Yeah. Right? It's like, dude, if you're gonna rob a place, like you might as well at least take the money.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Why are you holding up a gas station at gunpoint for a 24-pack of beer?
Right.
Anyways, so like we're doing this case and I'm listening to the case, and after they explain everything, they're like, Okay, so without knowing any of the facts of this case, is there anyone here who thinks that this person is guilty?
Mhm.
And I raised my hand, and there's like, you do realize like there's a criminal justice system that like people are supposed to go to. And I'm like, this guy sounds like an idiot, and they're just like, okay, I'm sorry, you can't be here.
Okay.
So I got kicked out of jury duty. Yeah. So, but it was just like, I like looking back on it now, and it's like realize like how funny my answer was. Like this guy sounds like a moron. Like
I know.
who would think that this guy is innocent?
But hey, it got you out of jury duty.
Yeah,
though,
it did.
You know,
it did. But so I have never personally sat in through a trial.
Okay.
Have you?
No, me neither. So I've only been called jury duty once. So I want to explain my situation because it seems like it's a bit different from yours.
Yeah.
So my registered address is in a town northeast of Boston that is not very wealthy. That's actually pretty well known for crime. There's a pretty high crime rate there. And so I got jury duty, and actually I live close to the downtown area. So I just walked to the hall because it's like a 15-20 minute walk. So I just walked there, and everyone else is there. And I'm not gonna lie, the most bored looking cop I had ever seen in my life just comes up. He just is like walking up. Hey guys, thanks for coming to jury duty. Okay, so just to let you know the process. So we got some cases today. Doesn't necessarily mean you'll be on the jury because they can talk outside of court and maybe we don't have to do anything. But we need you guys to wait in a waiting room to see if we need you. We'll be back in like 45 minutes, okay? So yeah, let me just take you to the room. He's just talking like this. We go down to the room, and we're waiting in this room in like the basement of the court, of the city court, right? And we're all just chilling there. It's like, yeah, you can't leave the room unless you need to go to the bathroom. You can use your phones, come back in like 45 minutes. If we don't need you, come back in 45 minutes. And here's the thing, for me, I was actually expecting a very expensive package that day. That was like multiple thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, oh shit, if this package gets delivered to my house while I'm in jury duty, no one's there to pick it up. It's going to get stolen.
Yeah.
And then I'm out thousands of dollars because it's a really big problem, like Amazon packages getting lifted and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like freaking out because it's supposed to come today, you know, so I'm checking it every 10 minutes. And then 45 minutes later, the police guy comes down. He's like, okay, yeah, so the two cases we had today, they got settled already. We don't need you guys. You can go home. That's what he said. And then we all just left, and I bolted out of there to go look for my package. And I couldn't find my package, even though it said it was delivered.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, shit, what's going on?
Yeah.
But what I found out is that the FedEx guy, he had put it behind. So in my house, we have kind of like two gates, and one is kind of behind the hedge. So he put it behind the second gate, behind the hedge, so no one could see it.
Oh, that's good.
And so that was really nice.
Yeah.
Good job, so I got
FedEx guy.
Yeah, good job, FedEx guy. So great, FedEx. But yeah, so that's my experience with jury duty. Is just no one wants to be there. The cop doesn't want to be there. Everyone's just bored.
No one wants to be there. Like the cop, like, so like to give you insight, like police have to go through these rotations. So they'll go through rotations where they're on patrol. And then they'll go through like desk job rotations also. And so it was probably this guy's turn that week to go be the jury duty cop.
Yeah.
And so he hates it. The employees that are there are all government workers. And if you guys ever like encounter American government workers, they all hate their job. They're all just like the most miserable people. They're just like, this sucks.
Yeah.
I'm just here to collect a paycheck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like you get that attitude everywhere.
Yeah.
The people coming in, the people working there, the only people who are like kind of like gung-ho about stuff is usually the lawyers.
Yeah, right.
But it's like those guys are great because they're getting paid a lot of money to be there, right? So they're just like, I love my job.
Yeah, right.
It's like, dude, well, yeah, of course
You're
you make you make six figures. Of course you love your job.
Yeah.
So, it's just like a miserable experience that every American hates.
It may be a miserable experience, but it's part of the American experience.
Yeah, and it is necessary, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you'll ever see somebody who's like jury duty shouldn't exist.
Yeah, right. It should exist. We just don't like it.
It should exist, right? Because it is a good way to balance out the system, so you don't have like the guy in charge making like all the sentences.
Yeah.
So it's really great, and I wish more companies. I wish more countries would adopt it. Right?
I mean, what Japan has like a 98% conviction rate.
Yeah,
you know?
right. And it's kind of like.
I
What's
never,
going on here?
I never want to be on the wrong side of the cops here ever, man.
Right? It's like you get arrested here and it's like it's a done deal even if you got screwed over.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really important, but it fucking sucks.
Yeah, it does suck a lot.
It sucks so much.
Yeah. So I would love to hear people's thoughts about jury duty. Because this is probably a very foreign concept to lots of Japanese people.
Yeah, I think so.
And if for our American viewers, if you've ever been to jury duty, please share your experience. I'd love to hear that, because neither of us have really experienced the full gamut of jury duty.
So like there's a whole thing, and like jury duty can, I think the longest they can keep you is 4 days.
Yeah.
But if it goes past the 4 days, they can request extensions.
Yeah.
So it can be really disruptive in a person's life. It's more than often not the case, but it can.
My dad had to do jury duty for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly, right? And they're giving you like $40 a day, and you know, people like your dad who are making like 6-figure incomes. It's like,
no, it's not worth it.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, so like when you're on jury duty, and I'm not speaking through experience here, but like everyone kind of knows how things work. So after you enter the court, you sit through the court case where you're usually like on a bench that's like perpendicular with the courtroom. So you have the like the judge on one side, you have the
prosecution on the other side.
And defendants on the other side. And you'll listen through the case. You'll be provided with evidence that you'll often be taken into another room for the jurors to like watch all the evidence being presented. And
then after that, you go into a room where you discuss with everyone, try to figure out the conviction.
You discuss something which is called a verdict.
Yeah.
And a verdict is just a fancy word for decision.
Yeah.
And you decide guilty or not guilty.
Yeah.
Right?
It has to be unanimous.
And it has to be unanimous.
Yeah.
And it's kind of famous. If you watch a lot of movies, they show this. But there's a lot of arguments that happen with jurors because they're specifically selected to be diverse.
Yeah.
One thing that like both sides... Both of their lawyers are present in selecting the jurors, and there's a veto system where as soon as one lawyer vetoes a juror, they're out.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if one lawyer wants them and the other one doesn't. If the other one doesn't, that juror's out. They have to both decide that juror is okay to select, right? And so there's going to be a lot of arguments where someone may like, oh, I think this person's guilty, obviously, and the other person's like, what are you talking about? They're not guilty. And then there's hour-long arguments where they could be there for several days.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, but a lot of people, they just want to get out of there soon, so they kind of try to adjust with
like
each
you
other.
Definitely, I feel like a lot of people are just like, fuck it, this guy's guilty. I want to go sleep.
Yeah, right. So that's one of like the negative sides about it, I guess. But
yeah,
I mean, no system's perfect, but
no.
But so this is unrelated, but we were speaking about police a little bit. Have you ever had negative interactions with cops in the United States?
No.
Okay. I have a few times. So.
I think the main reason is because I was military and like most cops are Army or Marines.
Okay, I see.
You know, it's so common to see a prior service police officer.
Okay.
So like I've been pulled over a few times and like often the cop will come up and be like, dude, I saw your Marine Corps sticker.
Yeah.
Badass. I was a Marine too.
I see.
It'll strike up a conversation on that
way. Okay.
So is it fair? No.
Yeah.
No, it's not fair. I should have gotten a ticket multiple times.
Yeah, I was thinking that's something we could like talk about, but I guess not. But
yeah, I actually when I got out of the Marines, I was actually trying to become a police officer.
Oh, really?
In the Seattle Police Department.
I got handcuffed by the SPD one time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's great.
Yeah, they hate their job.
Yeah,
a lot of police officers.
For the way they treated me.
I'm not going to get into politics here, but Seattle Police Department really hates their job.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, so I was trying to become a cop because I actually wanted to become a police officer. But at the time, there was no positions in SPD.
All right. Well, there we go. Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it's good talking about jury duty. I don't know what we're going to talk about next time, but it's going to be something fun, right?
I think so.
I hope so. All right. See you next time.
All right. See you.